What an honor it is this afternoon to introduce our last speaker of this, what I think is a fantastic West Virginia Forum Leadership School. And this man's name is Jim Hensley. I got to know him 10 years ago. And I'll tell you a little bit more about him in just a moment. But Jim gave me something of Army values. And I was reading those this morning, and I looked at them, and it says the first thing is loyalty. Bear true faith and allegiance to the U.S. Constitution, the Army, your unit, and your other soldiers. What if you put in there, bear true faith and allegiance to the Lions Club International's Constitution, to the district and the state, and to your fellow Lions? The duty of the Army is to fulfill your obligations. And how about the Lions? Fulfilling our obligation. Respect. Treat people as they should be treated. Amen? Amen. Selfless service. Put the welfare of the nation, the Army, and your subordinates before your own. The Lions. Think about that. Honor. Live up to the Army values. How about living up to the Lions values? Jim, thank you for giving me that. That's a good little thing to live by. And the last one I'm going to read is integrity. Do what's right, legally and morally. And I think this man that's going to come and speak to us just a moment is going to give us a good idea of what he's been doing and some of the things that I believe he can impart to us that will help us become better Lions, better individuals. Jim is a graduate of St. Albans High School. He's a Red Dragon. And some of you that live in the Canal Valley or know what we call St. Albans is sort of Snobbins. It's short. He's got a business degree from Lancaster College in Virginia. He was in the U.S. Army in 1967. For those of you that know what that year means, that was a trying time. And he was in the Army until 1994. He finally got it right and they let him out. He retired as a first sergeant. And at Fishburne Military Institute, he's known as Top. First sergeants are Top. He's an Army instructor for the Junior ROTC at Fishburne Military School in Waynesboro, Virginia. And he also has duties as a rifle coach and commander of the Color Guard unit. Now, he's a member of the Pineville Lions Club. Now, I don't know that he commutes and visits the Pineville Lions Club every meeting night, but I had the privilege this morning of watching Jim receive the Leonard Jarrett Award presented by the Pineville Lions Club. And I was really impressed, and I know that Jim is too. What an honor. He lives in Stanton, Virginia. I understand the Oak Ridge boys tried to get him to sing with them, but when he finally agreed, they were disbanding, so I suppose that didn't happen. His wife Diane and he have been married for 38 years. Now, I want to tell you a joke or two about golf because we met on the golf course. The West Virginia Lions State Golf Tournament has been going on for many, many years. And Jim came to us 10 years ago. And he's played golf with us every year since. And he has presented and brought with him to honor his brother. The Lions Golf Tournament is now known as the Lion Ron Hensley Memorial Golf Tournament. Lion Ron was a tremendous lion on the White Sulphur Springs Lions Club. And he was killed tragically on a mission to a Lions Club. And so Lion Ron has created an award that he gives each year to the lion of the golfer that has the best increase over the previous year. Now, that can be good or bad, which means you had a really bad year the year before if you're going to win that the next year. But we kind of look forward to seeing if we can improve. And Jim, we're really pleased to have you with us today. We're glad you came. And if you would please, let's welcome Top, Jim Hensley.
I got a few notes. I was told to talk for about 45 minutes. I didn't bring my water out, so when I get dry, it's over with. One thing I failed to mention was, when I was young, I had a drug problem. I was drugged to school, I was drugged to church, I was drugged to funerals, family family reunions, and that's the kind of drug problem we need today. Teachers and churches, we can't do it together. We still need the parents, so we still need to get the parents involved. And what I've seen over the last day or so I've been here, you're going in that direction of trying to get the parents a little more involved so that they can someday be a mentor to their own child. The next thing I like to do is, because you serve, and you serve extremely well, and it's all volunteer, so it's from the heart. Before that, I'd like to salute you. I think over the last couple of days, you've received a lot of what I call tools. I teach that at the military school. All the information I'm giving the new cadets is tools for a life learning experience. And everything I give them is information. They put it in their little toolbox, so that when an environment comes up, an adversity comes up, or a situation comes up, and they get that opportunity to look into the toolbox and pull out the right tool. And I try to explain to them, if the only thing in the toolbox is a hammer, then everybody's a nail. And it can't be that way. Our generation is changing. I think the gentleman mentioned that earlier at the beginning of this leadership, that the kids we have today are different in some ways, but in some ways they're not. Okay? If you speak positive to them, and you grab them by the shoulder every now and then and show them that you care, you'll see a response. They will live up to your expectations. If you tell some kid he's stupid or he's not going to make anything, he will live up to your expectations. So be careful what we say. And that's my opening statement here, is basically, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I was looking at some verbs of some of the projects in a magazine a few months ago for the Lions, and I looked at these verbs and I'm thinking of all the things that you do that people don't see in preparation phases. Work with, arrange, sponsor, organize, volunteer, conduct, encourage, obtain, collaborate, help, promote, and serve. Those are a lot of things. Those are action words. Those are things that you're doing to make a difference in your community as well as the state of West Virginia. I want to thank you for, Donna, for inviting me to talk today. I want to say some things through the eyes of an old first sergeant. Some things you may agree with, and then there's some things you may not agree with. And that's okay, because you'll make a great you, but allows you somebody else. So if you don't agree with everything I say, that's fine. I'm going to say them anyway. Now, I've heard this 3 or 4 times about leadership, and I can talk all day about leadership. And there's so many books out there on leadership. And the one I use the most is this one. Okay? The Bible gives me my principles. And from there, I make great decisions. And then I live with them. I don't second guess myself. It's kind of like my truck. You know, your windshield of your automobile is a pretty good size. And the mirror is very small. So I check the mirror every now and then. I want to see where I've been. But my main focus is on my windshield, my future, where I'm going. And that's how I live my life. When you get into your 60s, you really start thinking about that. Okay? I can get a little closer to the windshield. So you can see the car ahead of you. Okay? But the leadership is, and I'm going to say a brief thing here, it says leadership is the art and the skill to motivate young people to either become better citizens or to influence people to accomplish a mission or a task. The key there to me is the word art and skill. That tells me you can learn to become a leader if you choose to. Because life is about choices. Nobody was born a loser. We were all born choosers, not losers. And it's all the choices we make from the day we're born until the day we leave. Are we going to make a difference? Are we going going to leave a mark. So leadership is learned. At my age, I looked at the obituary on page 2. I want to see how I lived. Maybe I just want to go by and say my last respect to somebody in the neighborhood that I knew. Also in there, things about way back on page 4 or 5, it talks about birth announcements. It talks about these people saying, well, they want to welcome their boy into the world, or their girl into the world. Nowhere in there does it say they're welcoming a leader. You're either born a boy or a girl, and you choose to become a leader. So it is a skill and an art, just like it said. And all of you have picked up a lot of great tools. You've already had a lot of great tools before you got here, and you just keep building on that. You got to get another toolbox, so to be. And very important in the Army is we disseminate. Disseminate means that once we get information, we get skills, we have to pass it on. This knowledge is not ours to keep. The knowledge is so that we will share it. I hope you go back to your communities with the things that you've gotten in the last couple of days and share that with your fellow lines in the community. Let's talk about self-talk. Who do you think you talk to the most? Yourself. Absolutely. I've heard it in a couple of the other rooms that I went into, something about, somebody said something, they get hungry in the middle of the night, they don't know what they want, they're just hungry. Until they get that image, they're not for sure exactly what's going to satisfy them. So positive thinking is very, very important for you. So you have to believe in yourself. So you got to be careful what you say to yourself. Because whatever you feed your mind, that's what's going to happen. I think about common self-talks. I saw one yesterday, saw one today, right there. The Pledge of Allegiance. That's self-talk. 23rd Psalm. Self-talk. Boy Scout oath. Self-talk. Okay? The Lion's Creed. Self-talk. So if we feed positive things, we will spread out positive things as well. And I do truly believe that your attitude, not always your aptitude, but I truly believe that your attitude will determine your altitude in whatever you choose to do, whatever level you want to choose to do in the lines. And one thing that, I don't know if John does or not, he does and should, a lot of us have stressful jobs. We sometimes bring it home. Lord knows, in 20-some years in the military, I did that a lot. But I don't do that anymore. I park my truck, I open up my glove box, and I take all my problems that I didn't get through with today, and I put them in my glove box. And then I go in the house. I enjoy my family. I get dressed the next day for my challenges. I get in my truck, open up the toolbox, ceremonially, and I take all my problems, all my issues, and all the things I had to deal with today at work, and I take them back to work with me. That way you have balance in your life. Something to think about. Could be a box. Could be your mailbox. I use that for a while. It's just whatever you want to think about is leave things at work, if at all possible. And I don't want to go over the military values. I was going to do that, but John shot me down on that one. He wanted me to speed up the speech, I guess. But that's fine. They got to get the gist of it. Values are very, very important. And I cannot change, nor can you change anybody's attitude until you change your values. See, values are things that you think are important, like service to others. If that's important to you, it will show in your attitude. If you truly want to come to the leadership class, it will show in your attitude. You'll find some way to give. And thank you for staying for this. You stay right up to the end. When I think about values, I think about what's the value of the system? Because you have to ask someone who doesn't have one. Or what's the value of 4 years? Ask a Marshall or Virginia University grad. What's the value of 1 year? Ask a student who fails his final exam. You must value your community. Think about positive reinforcement. Things we don't say when we feel like we think it, but we kind of forget to say it. And that is, look for the good. Look for improvement. I do this all the time with cadets. I try to teach them 15 count manual arms, or how to march, or do something about face, which is a tough one. And, you know, it's comical to a point, but I'm not bad, not bad. You're getting there, okay? That's positive reinforcement, okay? Encourage the effort, and for God's sake, take time to compliment people. I've seen a lot of that here in the last day I've been here. I'm seeing people say a lot of good things to a lot of good people, and that's great, okay? A sincere compliment is the most powerful, motivating, and training tool that a leader can have, is a sincere compliment. Now, let's talk about fears real quick. Fear of failure, fear of what people might think, criticism, pleasing or making somebody happy, maybe making the wrong decision, or even the fear of change. There's a lot of changes going on in the districts and things like that. But when you first started leading, you had a lot of these fears. The more you got involved with it, whether it's through trial and error, the fears sort of went away because you developed self-confidence. Two principles. I know there's 13 principles in the Army. I'm not going to go over all of them. They're all important as action things that we should do as leaders. But the two that always sticks to me, and Jeff said it earlier, the first one is lead by example. I do that in my own classroom with a rope. I put the rope on the table. I show the kids how I can pull the rope and go wherever I want it to go. If I push the rope, they'll watch what the rope does. Same thing. You've got to lead from the front. You've got to lead by example. And the second thing I do, out of all those 13, is I know my people and I take care of them. In your case, know your members and take care of them. There's a program I call Winning Colors. Has anybody ever heard of Winning Colors? It's a great program about characters, 4 basic characters that we all have, some more dominant than others. And maybe someday I could come back and actually get in one of the classrooms and maybe teach that particular one. I won't get into it today, but the Winning Colors is great because, number one, it tells you about other people, and even more so, it tells you about you, what kind of a leader you are. It's nice to be important, but it's also important to be nice. I'm not an old meat for a sergeant like you might see in the movies. Okay? I honestly care about my cadets, and I care about people. And that's why I'm here today. 3 things I want you to think about in order to be successful, or at least to be a solid leader. Eliminate excuses and avoid procrastination. Number 2, complete projects and take care of your people. Number 3 is face the truth, no matter how painful it is. You'll face many different types of pain. And you'll encounter many different leadership challenges as you go through. You simply have to choose what kind of pain do you want. Do you want the pain of pressing through, or do you want the pain of giving up? Your choice. Always have a faith to live by. Always have a self to live with. And always have a purpose to live for. I challenge you as a leader to make sure you do that. And as Churchill once said, we make a living out of what we earn, but we make a life out of what we give. And I know the lines give. From the bottom of my heart, I know the lines give. And I want to thank you again for all the things you do for the great state of West Virginia. And I appreciate the opportunity. And my mouth is getting dry. So that's my signal to go away. And I thank you very much. Have a great day.